Ready? Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about drug abuse and the role that it plays with the person abusing the drugs, the criminal activity related to it, how it affects society, and the recidivism rate of drug abuse as well, and what we can do about it. Now, sometimes drugs and alcohol, they play a role in criminal activity even when the offender is not under the influence at the time the crime is committed. Many offenders commit crimes in order to get money to obtain drugs. The exact extent of the role that drugs and alcohol play in the commission of crimes in the U.S. is probably impossible to determine, but it's obviously significant according to data from a variety of government sources, such as the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics, which says that 24.2% of the crimes that drug abusers commit are crimes of violence. Also, 30% are rapes or sexual assaults. 23.3% are robberies. 24.1% are assaults. 26.2% are aggravated assaults, and 23.5% are perceived by the victims to be under the influence when they commit these crimes. Now, I'm going to talk about how it affects the society and the cost of drug use to society. The estimated cost of drug abuse in the U.S. is more than around $820 billion a year, and it's continuing to grow. The substance abuse in the U.S., it costs society in increased healthcare costs, crime, and lost productivity. Other costs to society, it goes beyond financial costs, and this is for instance, the spread of HIV or AIDS or hepatitis C when drug addicts share needles. Also, deaths from overdose, the effects on unborn children, and crime, unemployment, domestic abuse, divorce, and homelessness, which, according to a Whites and Treatment study, they said that 38% of our homeless are addicted to alcohol, and 26% of the homeless in the U.S. are addicted to drugs. And I understand that this us as a society, this is certainly disturbing, and it's upsetting because all of our dollars are going to people who are seeking help, but it seems like they don't want any help. That we're wanting to get them sober, and we want them to seek sobriety, and we want them to have sobriety so they can be productive, but nothing's happening. And what's really happening is that this goes into a recidivism rate, not only in people being released and rearrested and going to prisons or back to jails, but also the recidivism rate in the treatment centers. And what recidivism is like when somebody's incarcerated, or when somebody is in a treatment facility and they get out, they end up going right back in. And the recidivism rate in the U.S., according to crimereport.org, states that within 3 years of a prisoner getting out, 2/3 of those inmates that are released will be rearrested. And within 5 years of this inmate getting out, 3 out of 4 of them will be rearrested and incarcerated. Now, the Dream Center for Recovery done a study on the recidivism rate in treatment centers, and it's estimated that 40 to 60% of individuals relapse after treatment. And this is the issue right here. Most treatment centers are not extended stays. They're not prolonged recovery centers. They're just most of the times like 30 days. And that's not an extensive amount of time for somebody to get treatment or recovery. So the quality of treatment that an addict receives is widely considered to be the biggest indicator for risk of recidivism. But the much stronger predictors of failure than substance abuse are employment, and this is where their background or their past history, they've struggled to be able to find employment because of their criminal record. Antisocial behavior. The people, the drug addict, sees themselves as insignificant in society and can't find their place, and so they get standoffish, isolate, and go back to what they're doing. Then you have criminal companions, and so when they do that, when they finally isolate and they don't feel like there's any support anywhere else, they go back to the people that they know. And the criminal needs. The criminal needs are like the lifestyle. They miss this lifestyle. They're trying to unlearn this old way to learn a new way, and all these other factors are rolling in, and so they don't know how to live. And so what I'm getting at is that the issue really isn't the drugs. The real issues aren't being uncovered, and what stems from that is drug addiction, drug use, drug problems, society's problems as well. Now, Mike Coop, he's a clinical director at Place of Hope in Columbia, Tennessee. He said that most people use drugs and alcohol for two reasons. One is because they want pleasure. They like the feeling, and it's a good feeling. And the other one is to take away the pain, to numb the pain. I've heard him say and watched him say that upon entering a facility, if somebody wants sobriety, they're there, they're sober. Now let's get to the issue at hand. And places like Place of Hope, and there's some other facilities in this country that are like Place of Hope in Columbia, Tennessee, they don't just go by statistics, and that's what most people feel like they are. Most addicts that enter recovery centers or that are incarcerated, they feel like a statistic, and they don't feel like an individual. And so they see themselves as somebody being talked about instead of being talked to. And that's what we need. And I know it works because I too used to be one of these people. I went through a treatment facility, and I was treated as an individual. I had support. I had committed support, not just inside of there, but also outside, and they guided me along the steps of my recovery as they continue to guide me, and it's been several years now. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you right now. Being a student at Columbia State, when I've been incarcerated, when I've had a drug problem for 20 years, when I'm a felon, when I had all these things that were stacked up against me, and I come out of it, and I just continue to progress. It's because I have the support from people that are committed to help me out. And you can do the same thing. So when you see these people, don't just talk about them, talk to them. Because you may be that hope that these people need to see in their life. So reach out to these people. And these are people that are homeless. These are people that are incarcerated. These are people that are in these treatment centers. These are people struggling to find a ride, to go get a job, to go look for a job. These people are all around in our community, and they need some help. And we're the ones that can help them. Thank you for listening.